Greetings, nail people. Greetings, greetings. Come on in. Come on in. It's the regular bat time and the regular bat channel, so this should be easy for everybody to pop in here. There we go. There's Amy. Hi. Let everybody get filtered in here. Hello. Sassy Chic Nails. Stephanie, I just like saying Sassy Chic Nails. Yes, please invite followers. And hi, Tina. Hello, hello. You just said hello, hello. Amy, great minds think alike. Hi, Kate. Everybody come on in. I'm kind of thinking for the later in the week time, I'm going to look to see what time Nail Talk Radio airs, and maybe I'll do right before or after Nail Talk Radio. Maybe I'll do before. I don't know. I'm going to look to see what time she does, and then maybe, because I really like Thursdays. Thursdays are better than Fridays, but because I do early in the day on Mondays, so that's easier for the UK people. Maybe doing later on Thursdays would be good. I don't know. So that's what I'm gonna look. Yeah, I think it's Thursday evening too. I just gotta check and see what time, and then yeah, maybe I'll just plan for an hour before Nail Talk Radio starts. So today, NTR used to always be on Sundays, and now it's moved to Thursdays, I'm pretty sure. So today we have my Mrs. Cup. Mr. Nails Over Coffee has the black Mr. Cup without the bow and veil, of course. So today I'm doing this. So that's what I got going on. Today I have a few different things to chat with y'all about, of course, prompted by different things going on in different groups. So one of the conversations that I was having today in the Nailborhood was I was trying to answer a question about somebody who's a fairly new tech who is trying to increase her speed. It takes her like way longer on her first hand than it does on her second hand. And so I was trying unsuccessfully to share with her some ideas of how to get around that and increase your speed. And so some of the techniques, the one that I use, now of course, back to that, we're all artists, everything works differently for different people, but if you're struggling with your speed, the first thing you need to do is figure out exactly what part of the service you're struggling with. So is it applying forms? Is it applying tips? Is it polishing? Is it putting the white on and getting the white perfect? Like what exactly, what part of it that you need to do that's slowing you down? So I'll talk about that for a second, although I don't think that was her question. I don't think that's what her problem was. But so the first thing I recommend for everybody to do is get out the timer on your phone or kitchen timer or whatever. Get all your stuff out that you know you're going to need. Like, check it twice to make sure you have everything. And then start doing whatever service it is you want to work on your timing for. So I'm just going to use full set as an example. So start your timer and then go through your evaluation and your consultation and your prep all the way to when you're actually going to apply product. Go through that and then look at the timer on your phone and see how long it took you. Okay? Then do your application and look and see, keep kind of an eye on your time and see how long it's taking you and what's taking you the most time out of that. And then note your time when your product is all on. And then work into filing and, you know, doing all that stuff. And then when you're all done filing and buffing, if that's what you're going to do, or all that, and you're getting ready to start finishing, then note your time. and then go into finishing. However you're going to wash, have your client pay, whether you're going to polish or gel polish or whatever, all the way through them walking out the door. And then note your time. What this is going to teach you is where you're losing time. And if it's in something technical, like part of your service, or if it's something outside of that. So say you set everything all out, your client is somebody who has their credit card already out, ready to pay, all that kind of stuff, and you notice that you're way faster. Okay, then your problem isn't in your actual service application. Your timing problem is in everything else. You're spending too much time digging around looking for stuff, or your client can't decide on a color, and you're not doing good enough consultation at the beginning. Your client's taking too long to pay. You send them to the bathroom to wash, and I don't know what clients do in there, but they take like an hour to wash their hands, and they don't even do a very good job. I don't ever understand that. So, and there's techniques to handle all of these things, but you have to know what problem you're attacking first. Now, if you find out that no, it is in fact that application time that's really, and finishing, that's really getting you, okay, now you have a different problem to figure out. And so you have to figure out your steps and where you're taking a long time on and how to counteract that. But what I think the question I was being asked, that I was poorly explaining what I do, is, so she was saying that she does the first hand and it seems like it takes forever, like it's almost like a practice, but then the second hand, it goes along really fast. So especially depending on what you're doing, the temperature in the room will make a big difference, and it will vary from one day to the next, and sometimes within the same day, depending on if your air conditioning kicks on, or your heater, or somebody decides to leave the door open for too long, or whatever. So those kind of things change throughout the day. So this is what I do. And this was what I was trying to explain to her. So, put my cup down. So when I go through and I do all my prep and everything, and when I'm getting ready for product application, so whether that's applying forms because I'm doing acrylic set or whatever, or if I'm doing a fill, it's just the prep part, putting down, my dehydrator and my primer or whatever for whatever service I'm doing, or whether I'm using Scrub Fresh to be able to get ready to do a shellac manicure, whatever. Whenever I am doing the prep part and putting on the forms, I'm making a mental note of anything that might potentially trip up my game in my application. So I'm making a note of, they broke their ring fingernail, and so it's really short, and so my form might not fit right. So I can allow my brain to start turning on how to fix those things, so that when I get there, it's not like, oh man, this one nail's all messed up, and then it just throws out your game, right? Like, you can have your brain kind of work on that for practice. Decision between wellness time for client and your time for making money, not too fast. Well, right, Tina, of course. That's why when I'm talking about here, notice I'm not giving you any specific times. If you want to book an hour and a half for a full set or 2 hours for a full set, I don't care, as long as you price it right, it doesn't matter, which will lead into the next thing we're talking about. But so I'm not talking about speed. I'm talking about increasing your efficiency, and to also help you get more consistent. So like I said, notice I didn't tell you it should take you X amount of time for each one of those steps. That part is up to you and your pricing model and your service model, and that ain't got nothing to do with me. But so what I do is each nail, so then say I'm putting the forms on, say I'm putting all 10 forms on, which I do because it makes people a captive audience. They can't run their hands around all over the place when I'm got the forms on all 10 nails. But so when I'm putting their form on, I am looking for each individual thing. Like maybe they have a nail that's way shorter than the others, or maybe they have a free edge that's funky that I need to take a second to clip off, or maybe they have a nail that grows crooked. I've got a couple of clients that have one nail out of 10 that grows really cattywampus, and so every few appointments I have to straighten it out. So I have to shorten it down and put a form on and put it straight so I can straighten that nail out. Is this one of those fills? Is this the time I'm going to have to do that? Like, I'm kind of evaluating all of those things. And so that way, when I do that, then like I said, I've already got an idea, a big picture idea of what's going on. Then as I'm doing each nail, I focus on that nail, making that nail perfect. So I take that nail and I go, okay, so here I am with this nail now, and I've already noted anything that might be wonky about it. And then so say I'm doing a pink and white. I know that I'm working on this nail. So I focus on getting the right ball of acrylic, and I place it and I pat it and I get my smile line in, right? And then it's good. And I go to my pink and I stroke it out. And then I go to my pink and I stroke it out. So I get there, and then I'm like, okay, that nail is done. Next nail. And if you do that 10 times, your speed will be consistent because through each nail. So I hope that makes better sense to the tech I was trying to explain that to through the written word. I wasn't kind of getting my point across. Like, I could feel that I was like, dude, does that even make sense? And so the other thing that you can do to combat inconsistency with timing is, well, first of all, you should always have a system. Your system for each service should be the same every time. That consistency in what you do and the order you do it in will help you create consistent service times. But beyond that, the other thing you can do is, if say I'm coming in and I've got a day full of acrylics and I know that I'm going to be doing a lot of acrylics, I come in and I knock out 5 or 10 nails on a practice sheet before I get started. So I'm already warmed up. My first client isn't the first time I'm touching acrylic today or this weekend or whatever. And so I warm up first. And it only takes like 5 or 10 minutes, and it doesn't take a lot of product. If you do gels, you can't really do gels on a practice sheet. So I get out like a sample tip or something like that, or get out a trainer hand or a Freddy finger or whatever, and do a nail or two just to kind of get a feel for what's going on in the room and sort of get, kind of in your groove. And that will also help, especially if your problem is you're noticing that the first hand is harder than the second hand because that's your warm-up time. So instead, warm up before your client gets there, and then you'll be more consistent on that kind of time. So Tina, that you're like making the first pancake. Right, Camille? Exactly. It's like making the first pancake. Throw that thing away. Or the first waffle. Mine's always the waffle. It's always bad. So that leads, though, into my next thing, which was clients don't know what they don't know. Okay? So I see a lot of memes all the time about people are like, hey, that person comes in and they want rhinestones on every nail and bling and gel polish and they want to pay $25. What? You know what I mean? First of all, we should probably stop trying to educate the public through shitty memes. Okay? We should probably stop with that. It's pretty unprofessional. But we really need to factor in that the clients don't know what they don't know. So, for example, and some of it's cultural. Here in the States, we have a lot of discount salons. People are, and same thing with the UK. UK has a lot of nail bars. People are, doing shoddy work for a cheap price, and they're throwing in nail art and stuff for free because that's their pricing model or whatever. And notice that a lot of them fail. They don't stay around for 10, 15, 20, 30 years like techs can. So don't worry about what they're doing. But the thing is that a client doesn't know what they don't know, what we haven't told them. So I have a lot of times people come to me and they bring me a Pinterest picture and it's all like a long nails, blinged out, gel polish, chrome, rhinestones, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, I can totally do that. I can't do it this time because we don't have enough time booked for you. But this is how much time it's going to take, and this is how much it's going to cost you. And for me, I've found now that it's easier. I have it broken out in my online booking. So each thing has a time and a price attached to it. So that makes it kind of like I said, a no-brainer. It's going to take more time, therefore it's going to cost more money. It's going to take more product, therefore it's going to, I'll get back to that in a second, Tina. I'm not sure what you mean. So people will say, well, I want this. And I go, okay, well, I can do that. But it's $38 for your fill, plus it's $10 for your gel polish, plus it's going to be an extra $10 for the stones, and an extra $10 for the pigment and chrome. So whatever the math is on that, $38, $48, $58, $68. And we'll book it all out. And I have each one of those things individually booked. There's their fill time, and then there's, an add-on for Rockstar Glitter and Pigment, and then there's an add-on for Advanced Nail Art, and then there's an add-on for Add Shellac to Enhancement. And it adds the right amount of time, and it adds the right amount of cost. People don't know what they don't know. So I've had people go, damn, that's really expensive. And I go, well, you're looking at nails that probably took somebody, hi Andrea, that probably took somebody 2 hours to do. Now, it's only going to take me an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, but that's because I have a different product than they do that we're doing underneath or whatever. But if you explain to your clients or even your potential clients what's going into those pictures that they're looking at on Pinterest, if you post on Instagram, post what all it was that went into that. If you are posting on your Facebook page or whatever, tell people what it is. When you're doing consults, tell people what it involves. Again, like I said, people don't know what they don't know. And amazingly enough, a lot of my clients are like, actually, what I really like about this picture is I really like that glitter. And I'm like, cool. Just adding Rockstar Glitter to some nails is only a $5 upcharge. So it'll be $43. And people are like, oh, okay. Fair enough. Right? So Tina, I'm not really sure what you were asking. Tina was trying to ask a question. She was saying something about airbrush. We have sometimes, Tina, for those of you who aren't regular followers, Tina's in Germany. So sometimes it takes she and I a second to, her English is great, but sometimes it takes she and I a second to figure out exactly what we're talking about. So I'm sure she's typing right now. But she was mentioning something about airbrush or whatever. And so while she's typing, Andrea can translate. The jack of all trades, master of none. Make sure that you don't put anything on your service menu until you can consistently do it and offer it in the right timing and with the right quality. So if you're just not that good at acrylics and you're better at gel, then don't put acrylic on your menu until you're good at it. If it's vice versa, then vice versa. If you aren't good at any of those things yet, then don't put any of them on your menu and do manicures and pedicures until you can do that. Tina, specialize. Do FE special nails using airbrush on nails. Using airbrush on nails, that's for people who see, Andrea, y'all figured out if nobody does it in town. Right. It's a target market thing. Tina, why don't you post in German and then Andrea can translate for us and then we won't worry about it. For example, is what FE is. So again, your niche market. I'm going to let y'all figure that out with the German to English thing while I'm talking. For example, if you are in a town that is predominantly gel, like mine is actually. Tacoma is really heavy in gel. The discount salons do a lot of acrylic. The spas and individual techs do a lot of gel. If you're real heavy in gel, perfect market for me. I'm real heavy in acrylic. So I'm the acrylic girl. So I do a lot of acrylic work. It's cool, works for me. You know, looking at, you do what you're good at and fill a need in your market that's not being filled, you know? I can't wait till I write my book because I'm going to go through all this stuff and it's going to be so awesome. But that leads me into, that's a good segue into the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is soft gels versus hard gels. Oh my gosh. Okay, back to that clients don't know what they don't know. Okay, well, sometimes nail techs don't know what they don't know, and they really should know. And so this is just a quick little thing here, okay? A hard gel, this is it in a nutshell. A hard gel can't be soaked off in acetone. There you go. It doesn't matter what brand it is, doesn't matter whatever. Andrew says, get the RV ready and write my book while I'm traveling. I don't know that it's going to wait that long. I'm probably going to write my book this summer. So I got to get some videos and stuff up first, but it's on the list. So hard gels can't be removed in solvent. Period. There you go. Made that real simple. If it can be soaked off, it's not a hard gel. There you go. Hard gels, yes, Ruby will definitely be with me in the Nail Rogue RV. Hard gels are exactly that. They are harder, as in they're more rigid than soft gels. And it's because they have a different chemical makeup. Their polymer network is designed to link up in a manner that doesn't allow solvents to penetrate, which is why they don't soak off. Whereas soft gels are gels, oligomers, that when they form their network, they leave spaces for a solvent to be able to get in them, which is why you are more likely to have discoloration with a soft gel, because dyes and pigments can also get in there more easily. And because of all that space in there, they're not as rigid. Liz says, are hard gels the ones that come in a pot and soft are like polish? No, because, for example, the now defunct Brisa Light is a soakable gel. And it came in a pot and you put it on just like a gel, but it could be soaked off like an acrylic. So yeah, like Andrew says, some soft gels also come in pots. Really, I mean, really seriously, if it's soakable, it's a soft gel. If it's not soakable, it's a hard gel. So that's all you need to ask, is you just need to say, so like when I was looking into Polygel, Gelish's new product coming out, when I was looking into Polygel, the very first question I asked was, is it soakable? Because and it's not, by the way. And so finding out that it's not soakable lets me know that it has a polymerization where it cures and hardens that doesn't leave gaps inside the product. That lets me know it's going to be a little more rigid than something that's designed to soak off as a gel. And so I know that way. Like, you know how sometimes our acrylics, because acrylics are soakable, right? Well, EMA acrylics are soakable. MMA, that's debatable. I soak them off all the time, but they're more prone to yellowing, staining, those kind of things than hard gels are. And the reason why is because anytime you leave gaps inside the product for something to get in, then you're more likely to, that's how you soak it off, but you're more likely to have something you don't want getting in there to get in there. So basically, and so that's why soft gels, then you start asking about gel polish. So like soft gels, and gel polish can be a completely different thing. Some gel polishes have solvents in them, like shellac and gelish, and some are solvent free, like Luxio and Cuccio Veneer, and let's see, some of the other ones. So just for examples. So like Tammy Taylor Geligance doesn't have any solvents in it. And a real easy way to tell is open up the bottle of polish and smell it. If it smells like a solvent, then it probably has some sort of a solvent in it. The other thing you can do that's a little safer than sticking your nose in something that's chemical, we probably shouldn't do, is take some of it out, shellac, gelish, whatever, Luxio, and put it on a sample tip or something and let it sit for a minute without putting it in the light. Let it sit for about a minute and a half. Then take a brush, a gel brush or something else, and go back over the top of it. If it's stickier than it was when you put it on, it's got solvents in it, because in that minute and a half, those solvents evaporated, and so now you have a thicker product left behind. And there's benefits to both. Some of the advantages to using a product that's got some solvents in it is it still retains some of the polish quality, so it's a little different to apply than, and you generally can't mix them because each bottle color has a different solvent to pigment ratio. Whereas with true gels, they don't shrink, they don't dry up, they stay the same consistency the whole time you're using them. And a lot of times with a 100% gel polish, you can't brush on gel. You can mix colors together, which is something you can't do with a product that's got solvents in it, because it's got different solvents. So I was talking about this the other day, that there is literally so many different products on the market now. There is a product that has filled every niche, starting from traditional lacquer, think nail lacquer, think OPI, all the way through to long wear lacquers, to fast dry lacquers, to fast dry long wear lacquers, through to dipping systems with resin, dipping systems with gel, fiberglass systems, what we consider traditional wrap systems. To some of those are done with gel. Then there's, gel, there's hard gel in a pot, and there's soft gel in a pot, and there's soft gel that's brush on, and there's acrylic that's light cured, and there's acrylic that's air dry, and there's now polygel that's like gel, but it is light cured, but it shapes like acrylic. Like, there is literally everything from one end of the spectrum to the other, and that's totally fine. I'm a real big fan of, and maybe I'll post it again just because it's on my mind. I have a Picasso quote that says, "Learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist." And that's really kind of the thing. Once you know all of the science inside and out, and you know the natural nail or the hand or foot or whatever, and you know it inside and out, and you know how you work as an artist, then you can take those things, you can choose products, and you can marry them together and come up with something that's amazing, that you love doing and your clients love wearing. So I like to use an example of like a painter. A painter, right, Tina says, know your material well. A painter, it doesn't matter if they paint in oil or watercolor or whatever, and it doesn't matter what they paint on. Some people can only use spray paint on, Camille says, I feel like it's no use trying to ask a client what they want because our nail world is so complex. We are the pro, right? That's the thing, is that back to that, clients don't know what they don't know, okay? They don't know what they don't know. And so, and it's not their job to know, right? Camille says we should tell them what they need. And we need to understand that not everybody is our client. So I know other nail techs in my area that there are some things that are just not in my wheelhouse. I can do them and they're fine, but they're not my specialty. And so if I have somebody come into my salon who is here for something that I'm just not the best tech for them, I look at their nails and I go, what you need, I'm not really your gal, but let me tell you who is. And I say, let me hook you up with Val, or let me hook you up with Stacy, or let me hook you up with, you know what I mean? Somebody who that is their specialty. I'm not the big art girl. I do art, and I do some art, and I do good art with what I do, but I'm not the one who's going to hand paint designs on all 10 of your long sculpted stiletto nails. Like, that's not just me. That's just not. And it's never going to be me. I'm a technical nail tech more than an artistic nail tech. And so I can do some stones, and I can do some water marbling and some dots and some glitter and some pigment fades and stamping and all that kind of stuff. But if you want, you know, the Mona Lisa painted on your nail, I'm not your girl. But I can send you to Stacy, and Stacy's your girl. And so, and you got to have no problem doing that. You got to know what's outside of your realm and be able to point clients in the right direction. Go to Robin Moses, right? If she was close by, yeah. So, you know, what I was talking about in a group the other day was the problem is, one of the problems is that people don't learn anything in nail school, right? That's no surprise. None of us learned anything in nail school. I mean, I had a great nail school education, and I still had to learn a lot in the first 6 months I was out of nail school. And I had a great education. So I can't imagine what it's like for people who are basically being taught by a Cosmo instructor who doesn't know anything, and they're being taught to pass their state board. You know what I mean? And I get it. It's the economics of it. It's hard to keep a nail instructor on staff for what might end up being a class of 2 or 3 people. And then you have to charge so much that it's cost prohibitive for people to join the nail school. And it's easier in my state because we're 600 hours, so you can get federal funding. But in a lot of other states, you can't. And in some places, there isn't even any nail school. There's qualifications and everything. So I get that people aren't learning the basics. But so then here's the deal. Ask for education in the basics. And trust me when I tell you, us educators will provide it. What you're asking for, we'll provide. You just got to let us know, and you got to be willing to pay for it, because we're also not going to do it for free. I didn't get my education for free, and I didn't spend the last 20 years learning all this crap for free. So people need to stop watching nothing but nail art videos from home DIY people on YouTube and only willing to pay for nail art classes, because guess what, guys? You're putting some really crappy nail art on top of some really crappy nails, or you're putting some amazing nail art on top of some really crappy nails, and that doesn't do anybody any good. Not you, not me, not the rest of the industry, nobody. So we need some more education in the basics, and that's what's going to make you money. Okay, I saw a stat the other day that only 3% of nail techs make it past like a year as professional nail techs, and that the number gets even smaller a couple of years out. So, Tina, repeat, training, perfection, right? And never stop learning. I've been doing, right? Isn't that figure amazing? 3%. I was pretty sure that I read it in one of Tina Alberino's blogs. That's awful. 3%, right? That's crazy. I'll try to find out where I looked that up, and I'll post it in the comment section. So seriously, you guys, like, the reason why that's happening is because of bad training. Kate says, can you believe that the only nails trade show in Toronto has no one offering classes? Wow. See, and then there's a problem with that. I was just talking to another nail tech about that the other day. I would love to teach classes at shows, but I'm not going to pay to be a vendor so that I can teach classes, because paying to be a vendor is expensive. And if you don't have a product to sell, then it's cost prohibitive. So, for example, for the privilege of teaching a business class at a networking event, I'm looking at $600 for a booth, usually $300 to $400 for transportation, a couple $100 in hotel, another $100 in a rental car. And that is before I even, as Sassy Chic says, at least Toronto has nail anything. Oklahoma has nothing, just nails. But you're close to Texas, and you can go to the best little nail show. You know, by the time there would, Andrew says if there would be licensing and continuing education, they would have classes. You would think, but as Amy and I found out in dealing with South Carolina, even the continuing education classes are sometimes hard. Yeah, Kate says we don't have anything, just nails. It's a spa show. Yeah. But so when you look at that, so say somebody like me, I'm looking at $1,100 before I sell a single ticket, and then I have to pay for classroom space on top of that. So maybe that's an extra $200, $250 if I'm able to get a classroom for like a half day. Now, I'm lucky. I'm a business class, so I could sell 30 or 40 tickets and do it classroom style, which is what my plan is to do when eventually that happens. So I actually have a shot, but then I've got to take, it's not just that $250 plus my time for teaching the class. It's also the $1,200 I had to spend to be able to be a vendor, to be even able to get there. So now we're looking at, I've got to make a minimum of $2,000 to break even, and nobody's in business to break even, right? That's a charity. So I have to charge $75 a person and get 40 people, right? Bye, Kate. You can catch the rest later. So, you know what I mean? Like, we need to think about that from the perspective of these organizers. Now, if somebody, like I've had a couple of show people that have invited me to be a guest presenter, which means I don't have to pay to be a vendor. And so that's better, because then I'm only paying for classroom space and tickets and everything for the show. You know what I mean? Like, that's better. Then I at least cut out the $600 or $700 or $800 in vendor space. And don't even talk about these big shows. You guys, Premiere Orlando, Chicago, New York, Long Beach, Vegas, the big shows, you can't even get a table and a booth in those for less than $2,500. Then you have to pay somebody to work it with you, because they're going to get thousands of people and you can't work that booth alone. And then you're having to pay for all of your airfare and hotel and all that kind of stuff. On top of that, you're talking about $5,000 out the door, easy. There's no independent educator who can afford to pay that. Do you? Yeah, and Andrea, and you have to ship your products ahead, right? If you're going to sell products at the show, you got to ship them ahead. And then when everybody's there buying products, they expect some kind of a show special, which is, I get it. I do it too. But so now you're spending $5,000 to get there to show people your product that you're going to sell at a discount that you had to pay to ship there ahead of time. Like, it's so hard, you guys. And so we need to shift our whole way of education, our whole way of thinking, what nail techs are willing to learn, what they know they need to learn. Again, you don't know what you don't know, what they're willing to pay, that you're going to have to pay for education that's worth anything. And then educators, so we were talking about this the other day in a thread, and then educators, yeah, right. Amy says, I have an idea. We need to chat more, right? And then educators, you got to bring your game. You got to bring your game. The days of setting up a table and telling people that they Lauren says we need more things like High Road to Education all over in different locations, right? But High Road to Education also has its problems. For one, it's a group, okay? And so, like, chances are I'm probably never going to get asked to join in on High Road to Education. I think it's awesome. It's not going to help me as an educator any, because I'm not one of the cool kids. And that's fine. I don't care about being one of the cool kids. But then the knowledge that I have, I'm not going to be able to get out in a situation like High Road to Education. I'm just never going to get invited to do those kind of things. So, Lauren says, agreed. So we as techs need to start bringing in our own educators. So here's the thing. I'm a cool kid. I am not, Amy. So here's the thing. I'm a rebel. So here's the thing is people, Lauren, let's band together, right? We'll create our own cool kid group. So here's the thing. If you have an educator that you want to see at an event, right? I am a rebel with a cause, Amy. If you have an educator you want to see at an event, contact the event organizers and ask for them. Ask for them by name. That will get, if enough people will request somebody, then they'll get invited without having to be a vendor. That's a big one. And shows only do that if people are asking for that person. Okay? So contact your show organizers and tell them who you want there. Tell them who you want to see, because trust me, they want you there and they want to sell tickets and draw booths. So they'll do their best to get the person there who you want there. The other thing is that if you want something in your area, I love how Tina Alberino does it. And I think it's something that I'm going, yeah, and tell the educators too. Tell them, says Amy, tell them where you want them to be. Here's the thing. If you want a class in your area, step up and organize it. And when I say step up and organize it, I mean Tina Alberino's policy is this. You say, hey, I want a class here in Tacoma. And Tina says, great. It's going to cost this much in transportation, and you need to find me a venue that seats this many people. And here's some different options depending on what price tickets you want to be. And she won't even book any of that until a minimum of 6 tickets are sold and all of the travel expenses and everything are paid. So if you want education, organize it. Kick out your own $1,100 or whatever and schedule a class and book it and get people signed up and you sell the tickets. Trust me, we as educators will help promote it. But that way the classes don't ever get canceled for lack of participation, because the stuff's already been paid for ahead of time. My plane tickets or travel or whatever is already booked. My hotel is already booked. My rental car is already booked. It's all paid for. And so then we'll sell tickets on top of, you know what I mean? Sell tickets to recoup that, and then the added bonus. And if you do that, then if you're willing to be an organizer, then I'm going to let you attend the class for free. So you get the class for free. We get a class in the area. I get all my expenses paid for and get to make a little bit of money for the fact that I am taking my time out of the salon. So that's the other thing. I average several $100s a day in every day I work in the salon. So if you want me to take my time away from the salon, I deserve to get paid for that. Because or I could just stay here and do nails, not help anybody get any better and make money, right? That's the selfish way to do it. And I don't want to be selfish. I want to be an educator. People want information. I have information. I want to provide said information. And I'm not talking about just me. I'm talking about all educators. All of them. Every educator is in it to help educate other people and to hopefully at least not lose money in the process. Because, not to sound like a bitch, but why should I lose money so you can learn how to make more money? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I do that? I mean, there's some things I do, like this, I do for free. This is my philanthropic purpose. But otherwise, you know, why would I spend my money so that you can make more money? That doesn't make any sense. So we need to look at that and think about that. And we need to demand that from our educators. We need to demand that from our brands. We need to demand that from our trade shows. And we need to stop only attending art classes. Jerry, nobody should work for free or at a loss, right? I mean, so we just need a whole new way of thinking, and we need to demand it. Okay, so one last thing that I got sidetracked on, and then it's time for me to be done here because it's 1:49, is my comparison about art and technical. So say you're an artist, okay? Just because you paint really good with oil paints does not mean you paint really good with watercolors. Just because you sculpt really well with clay doesn't mean, or glass, you're a glass blower, doesn't mean that you are good with paint. Art is all different, and it's subjective, and it's different mediums, and some art photography. Just because you're a good photographer doesn't mean you can paint. Just because you can paint doesn't mean you're a good photographer, because there's an artistic and a technical aspect to all art. So for some people, they might be an amazing artist with a spray paint can and a concrete wall. But if you hand that same person oil paints and a brush and a canvas, they can't do anything really good with it because they don't understand how the canvas is going to accept the oil paint. They don't know how the brush is going to work with that oil paint. With watercolors, you're on watercolor paper. You have to understand how to add more water, how to add less, how the paper is going to spread the watercolor paint to give you the desired effect you're looking for. If you're a sculptor, you have to understand how different types of clay, is it going to be how different types of firing that clay is going to make a different thing. If you're going to paint on that clay, if you're going to glaze it, how is that going to work? There's a technical aspect to it. Glass blowing, oh my God, if you want to know how much you don't know about art and mediums and technique versus technical, watch a glass blowing video. That stuff's insane. Just because they can do an insane, crazy cool glass blowing doesn't mean they can do a crazy cool oil paint. Just because they can do a crazy cool oil paint doesn't mean they can do a crazy cool splatter paint on fabric on the wall. There's so many different things. You guys, if they can sculpt with clay doesn't mean they can sculpt with iron. We need to start looking at our industry, and the coolest iron sculpture in the world, the amazing artistic talent that goes behind that, doesn't mean shit if it's going to rust and fall apart in 6 months, or it's not going to stand up, it's just going to fall over. You have to know the technical part about it too. So we need to start looking at what we do as a combination of the technical that we have to know and the artistic part that makes us uniquely us. I've trained many nail techs over the years, and if you lined us all up, me and Jen and Amy and Statira and Jenny who trained me and Stephanie and oh my gosh, there's been so many over the years, people I've trained and mentored in. And if you look at our nails, you can tell that we all come from the same lineage of nail techs and nail artists, because there's very definitely similarities to our work and how we work. But if you were to line up all of our work side by side by side by side, you would be able to tell also the differences in all of our work. Some tend to have a little more crisp smile lines. Some tend to have a little different shape they like on the sidewalls. Some people structure their stuff a little differently. Some of us are way better at art than some of the others of us. Different kinds of art. Some are better at hand painting. Some are better at stones. Some are really amazingly proficient at gel polish, but some not so much. Tina, but step sometimes out of the box and look for inspiration worldwide. You are perhaps the first in town with new stuff. Absolutely. Anybody who is in the professional beauty industry who thinks they know everything is somebody that we should just tune out and ignore, because it is not possible to know everything, and it is not possible to be the best at everything, and it is not possible to you can't know everything. You just can't. So like, I'm still working on perfecting my Chrome application. I do Chrome and it's good, but am I the best? Not even by a long shot, which is why I educate with what I know, and I still attend education for what I want to get better at, or what I want to improve at, or what I need to do more. Yeah, Tina practiced with her cold hand, which is her nail trainer hand, which is handy Andy. Oh, Barry, we miss Barry. You know, handy Andy, right? See, Andrea's, we're there. So I'm going to go to, there's a class coming up I'm hoping to be able to go to that is Lauren Wireman and Robin Moses doing a, I don't know, Barry's been busy with clients and her family, so, you know, I guess she just doesn't have time for us right now, and that's cool. But there's a class with Robin Moses and Lauren Wireman, worth its weight in gold. Like, I totally am hoping to be able to go to that class. I want to do a Russian manicure e-file class. It's not sold out. There's two different, it's being offered twice at Oregon, Camille, and I don't think both days are sold out. I think one might be, but the other one might not be, is usually the case. Usually Saturday or Monday ends up being the more popular day. But for example, I'm not going to Amy Becker's class because Amy Becker's class is, right? Amy Becker's class is an 8-hour gel class. And while I'm sure if I took that class, I would learn things, because I'm not Amy. But I'm more at a point where that $200 for that class would be better for me spent if I had to pay Amy $200 for 1 hour private one-on-one time with her, because I have very specific questions that I need help with to take my stuff to the next level. So I would be better off to spend that $200. I have taken classes with Amy and I do know her technique and I use it in the salon every day. So that 8-hour class isn't what I need. That 8-hour class is not for me, that particular class. But I'm going to see if I can pin her down for an hour and pay for an hour privately with her, where I can spend an hour asking specifically the 3 things that I need to know. Oh, that's where, oh, we did meet there, didn't we, Camille? Amy's pointing out, that's where I met you at Amy's class. Yes, I did Amy's class last year. I also did Lauren's short nail art boot camp. So, you know, I do e-file training, and I've done e-file training. I've taken e-file training and I've given e-file training, and I'm perfectly capable of giving e-file training, but I don't know how to do a Russian manicure with an e-file, not the way the Russians do. I know how to do a natural nail manicure with the e-file, but I want to take a Russian manicure e-file class so that I can know all of the things. And maybe I won't use the things, but I need to know all of the things. And so I want to take one of those. And I still want to take a class with Nicole Atwood, because I would, or do a private lesson with Nicole, because I would really like to pick her brain about some things, because she's like the e-file master. And I happen to like her. She's a pretty cool chick. So I guess what my point is that we need to know all of the things so that we know what we don't know, and that then we can price things appropriately. And we can, in the salon then, if you're a member of University of Nails, you've heard all of this before, then we can know what we don't know, so we can know what are our strong points and what to offer in our salon, and we can understand how to price them so we can make a living doing this. And that's what I'm doing as an educator. I'm now taking all of those principles and I'm applying them to building an education business. So, oh my God, super long-winded today. Clearly I had a lot to say. So it's been an hour. I'm going to get out of here, but come back in 2.5 hours and start with Camille at Brass Tacks Nails. Camille, if you want to actually throw up some words here, you can touch on her, you guys, and you can follow her, and you can turn on notifications for Brass Tacks Nails. And then when the Pass the Polish Scope Train starts today at 4:30 my time in 2.5 hours, there's Camille. Tap on that and follow it. Then you can get an alert when we start the Pass the Polish Scope Train. I'm the Caboose, and today on Pass the Polish, we're going to be talking about what are the perks of being a nail tech. Like, I'm going to tell my story. Oh, there's more Camille. Make sure you tap on that and follow it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my story, about how I became a nail tech and my beginnings and trials and kind of my path to get to where I am now. And I'm the Caboose, so choo-choo, I'm the Caboose. So be on the train at 4:30, follow it along. We've got, I think, 7 stops on the train, and I'm the last one. So I will see you guys on the Pass the Polish Scope Train. I'm the Party Caboose. Hey! So I will be here, and I will make sure that we are all good to go, and follow along on the train, and then I will talk to you guys a little bit about me and my path to how I've gotten here, for those of you who don't know. So share with your friends, follow on all of the things, Instagram and Facebook, and like all the things, and subscribe on YouTube and all that other stuff. And I'm going to go try and find that blog by Tina about being an educator and post it on here. Yeah, I know the train's super late for you guys over in Europe this time. So you'll just have to catch them all in the replay, Tina. But then the bonus is you can watch them in your own time, and you can still give hearts in replays. So, all right, guys. Oh, you're ill? You're sad. Well, lay on your side and watch it on the replays tomorrow. All right. Bye, guys. I will see you for the train, and I will see you, I don't know. You know what? Follow the Nails Over Coffee Facebook page, and I will post when I'm going up for the second show this week. All right. Bye, guys. Ciao. And if you like what I had to say in this, share it after I get the video up on YouTube. Share it away. Make it widely viewed so that we can, you know, do our crazy little movement, because I'm not the cool kid, so nobody's going to share my ish except for you guys.